Okay, let's jump right in. We're doing a deep dive today into the Employees Deposit Linked Insurance Scheme. That's the EDLI from 1976.
EDLI. It's that mandatory life cover that comes bundled with your EPF, your Provident Fund.
Exactly. And what we really want to unpack is how radically this thing has changed, especially between, say, 2021 and the updates kicking in around 2025.
It's a huge transformation.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's gone from being a relatively minor add-on to a pretty substantial financial safety net for families.
And the hook here, the really surprising part for a lot of people listening, is that this life insurance cover, it costs you, the employee, absolutely nothing. Zero.
Yeah, that's key. The employer foots the whole bill. It's just 0.5% of your wages.
And even that 0.5% is capped, right?
Right. It maxes out at just 75 rupees per employee per month.
It's amazing value, really, for the benefit provided.
It really is. A significant social benefit built on, well, a tiny contribution.
And you have to see where it came from. Back in the day, EDLI was pretty modest, tied directly to your PF savings.
The payout was small then. Very small initially, maybe around 10,000 rupees max.
Yeah.
But now, with these recent amendments, it's like a proper guaranteed social insurance. It has real floors and ceilings now.
Okay, let's talk numbers then. What's the top line?
The maximum payout, the assurance benefit, that was hiked up significantly. It's now 7 lakh rupees.
7 lakhs, okay. But you mentioned floors, minimum guarantees.
Exactly, and this is maybe the biggest shift. There are minimums now that protect people who haven't been in the system long or maybe don't earn high wages.
So what's the main floor?
Well, if you've got at least 12 months of continuous service, the benefit payout is guaranteed. It won't drop below 2,50,000 rupees.
250 minimum, regardless of your PF balance.
Regardless. Doesn't matter if your balance is low.
Yeah.
It completely separates the insurance protection from just your savings history. That's really crucial.
And what about people who just started working? That was always a gap.
They close that gap. That's the July 2025 update. If a member passes away before completing even that first year, there's now a special minimum floor, 50,000 rupees, guaranteed. So there's some safety net for the family, literally from day one.
50,000 minimum, even for very short service.
Okay. Now, for those with more than 12 months in, the way they actually calculate the final amount is interesting. It's a sort of hybrid formula.
Hybrid. How does that work?
It's designed to get you closer to that 7 lakh ceiling if possible. It basically takes the higher of 2 calculations, but the main one now involves 2 parts added together.
Okay, break it down for us.
All right. First part. They take 35 times your average monthly wages. But, and this is important, they cap those wages at the statutory ceiling.
Which is currently 15,000 rupees, right?
15,000, yes. So 35 times 15,000 max for that part. That gives you a base amount.
Got it. And the second part?
The second part is a bonus. Kind of. It's 50% of your average PF balance over the last year or so.
So savings still play a role there.
They do, but that bonus part is also capped. It can't add more than 1,75,000 rupees to the total.
Okay, so 35 times capped wages plus 50% of PF balance, also capped. It seems designed to reward saving, but not make the whole thing dependent on being a high earner.
Precisely. It balances things out.
So that structure sounds much more robust. But the scheme itself dates back to 76. How did the recent 2025 changes adapt it for today's workforce? You know, people moving jobs, contract work.
Yeah, that was a major focus. Modernizing the eligibility, especially around continuous service. That phrase used to be really rigid.
A short break between jobs could mess things up.
Totally. Even a small gap could mean losing eligibility built up over years. But now, they've relaxed that.
How so?
Get this. If you have gaps between jobs, like up to 60 days, they just ignore those gaps now when calculating your 12 months of continuous service.
60 days. Wow. So your service just gets added together across jobs as long as the breaks aren't too long.
Exactly. It's a huge help for people in, gig work or project-based roles. Much more realistic.
And what if someone's still employed, but maybe on long leave, not contributing?
There's protection there too. Your EDLI coverage actually extends for 6 months after your last contribution date.
6 months buffer.
Yeah. The condition is you have to still be officially on the company's muster rolls, like on unpaid leave or something.
Yeah.
But the coverage doesn't just vanish the day contributions stop.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, having these benefits is one thing, getting the payout quickly is another. What about the claim process?
They've put some serious teeth into that. There's a statutory deadline. A complete claim must be settled within 20 days of them receiving it.
20 days? That's quick for processing insurance.
It is, and there's a penalty for missing it.
A penalty? On whom?
On the EPFO itself, effectively. If they fail to settle that complete claim within the 20 days, they had to pay penal interest.
How much interest?
12% per annum. And here's the kicker. That penalty might actually be charged to the specific commissioner who was responsible for the delay.
Charged personally? Wow, that's real accountability. Puts a fire under them to process things fast.
It certainly does. It puts a direct financial consequence on administrative delays for these priority claims.
But, okay, all these rules, the guarantees, the penalties, it sounds great on paper. What's the one thing the listener, the employee, absolutely needs to do to make sure this works smoothly if needed?
It's simple, but absolutely crucial. You need to complete and maintain your e-nomination on the EPFO portal. Keep it updated.
The e-nomination, that tells them who gets the money, right?
Exactly. Having a clear, updated e-nomination is the single biggest factor in ensuring that claim gets processed quickly and the money reaches your family without hassle. It removes ambiguity.
So that's the key action item for everyone listening. Check your e-nomination.
Absolutely. When you look at the whole picture now, the higher benefits, the minimum guarantees, the flexible eligibility, the digital systems like the ECR underpinning it, and these strict penalties for delays.
Yeah.
The EDLI really has become a genuinely robust safety net. It ensures that up to 7 lakh rupees can get to families relatively quickly, regardless of how long the person worked there, what they earned.
It's quite a journey from that initial 10,000 rupee benefit. It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? What does it signal about a social security system's commitment when it's willing to financially penalize its own administrators if they don't deliver the promised benefits on time?
That level of built-in accountability, it suggests a system that's serious about its promises.
A promise you might actually be able to rely on. Something to think about.
All right, let's talk about your Provident Fund, or PF, account. What if I told you that you're probably sitting on a pretty powerful, completely free life insurance policy and you don't even know it? Seriously, this isn't just some small little perk. It's a huge benefit hiding right there in plain sight on your salary slip. So let's unpack it. Yeah, just let that sink in for a moment. A really significant life cover, and it's just automatically part of your job. And the best part? It costs you absolutely nothing. Not 1 rupee. I know, it sounds way too good to be true, but I promise you, this is for real. So what is this thing? It's called the Employees Deposit Linked Insurance Scheme, or EDLI for short. It's been around since 1976, and it's a core piece of the Social Security you get from the EPFO. But here are the 2 things you really need to remember. 1, your employer pays for all of it, and 2, your coverage is totally automatic. Okay, but here's where things get a little weird. That name, deposit linked, it's completely misleading. It's basically a historical leftover from when the whole thing started, and frankly, it just causes a whole lot of confusion. You hear deposit linked, and you'd think, right, the payout must be tied to how much money is in my PF account, which for a lot of people isn't much. But that's not how it works anymore. The reality is, EDLI has grown into this really strong social insurance program that offers big, guaranteed payouts. And these have absolutely nothing to do with how little or how much you saved.
All right, let's get down to the good stuff, the numbers, because this is where you're going to see just how powerful this safety net really is.
First up, this number, 7 lakh rupees. That's the maximum benefit, the absolute highest payout your family could get. I mean, that's a really substantial amount of money. And this next one is just as important, maybe even more so, 2.5 lakh rupees. This isn't a maybe, this is the minimum guaranteed benefit if you've been in service for more than a year. No matter what, this is the baseline, the floor. Okay, and here's the kicker. This is the part that just blows my mind. All of this protection, we're talking that huge 7-lock ceiling and the 2.5 lakh floor, it's all paid for by your employer. And guess how much it costs them? A maximum of just 75 rupees a month. That is just an unbelievable value proposition, right? So you might be wondering, how do they actually figure out who gets what? Well, it's not just one simple rule. It's actually a pretty smart 3-tier system, and it's designed to protect different people in different situations. Let's break it down. So you can see the 3 layers pretty clearly here. You've got the big one at the top, the 7 lakh max benefit. Then in the middle, that really strong 2.5 lakh minimum for people who've been working a while. But what I really want you to focus on is that bottom one, the new joinee guarantee. This is a newer change and it's absolutely critical. And let me tell you, this new guarantee is a total game changer. Think about it. Before this change, if someone new to the workforce passed away, their family might have only gotten whatever was in their PF, maybe just a few thousand rupees. But now, that same family is guaranteed a minimum of 50,000. That is a huge leap forward for that early career safety net. And this really brings us to a super important point. The EDLI isn't some dusty, old-fashioned scheme that's just been sitting there. Nope. It's been actively updated to match how we actually work today, with all the job hopping, contract gigs, and the need for more flexibility. Okay, so the first big upgrade is all about changing jobs. The old rules, they were super strict about what they called continuous service. But now, if you have a gap of up to 60 days between jobs, it just gets ignored. This is great because it means if you're someone who changes jobs often, you don't lose out on qualifying for those bigger benefits. And then there's the second update, which extends your coverage. Basically, the benefit will still be paid out if a member passes away within 6 months of their last contribution, provided they're still officially employed. This is huge for protecting you during times like, say, extended unpaid leave. So who is this really for? Well, it's for you. It's for the modern workforce. We're talking contract workers, people in the gig economy juggling projects, anyone who's climbing that career ladder by switching jobs, and yeah, even folks taking a sabbatical. The system finally gets that this is how people work now. Okay, so we've established the system is powerful, it's modern, it's automatic, it's great. But there is one absolutely crucial thing that you need to do. Just one step to make sure all of this works perfectly for your family if they ever need it. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is straight from the official guidelines. A valid e-nomination. That's the key. It makes the whole claim process fast and simple, and it helps your family avoid a ton of legal headaches during what's already going to be an incredibly tough time. Let's just be crystal clear on why this matters so much. First, it makes sure the money goes to the person you actually want it to go to. Second, it helps avoid ugly family disputes and legal delays. Third, you don't need a bunch of expensive legal paperwork like a succession certificate. And finally, it lets the EPFO do its job and settle the claims super fast, like within 20 days. And you know what the best part is? It's so easy to do. Seriously, you just log into the EPFO member portal with your UAN, go to the Manage tab, find e-nomination, fill in your nominee's info, upload their picture, and then e-sign it with your Aadhaar. The whole thing probably takes, 5 minutes? So let's just wrap this all up. You've got this incredible safety net worth up to 7 lakh rupees already there waiting for your family. The only question left is, have you done your part? Have you taken that one simple step to make it all official? Is your e-nomination ready?
Welcome to the debate. Our focus today is on the Employees Deposit Linked Insurance, the EDLI scheme, and the really rapid, sustained legislative transformation it's gone through, particularly between 2021 and 2025. The central question, I think, emerging from all this is, well, it's quite pragmatic. Has the statutory success and the policy ambition of the EDLI scheme, especially with this huge expansion of benefits and inclusivity, has that been fundamentally undermined by the scheme's ongoing operational complexities and, the administrative struggle to actually ensure timely and correct payments? My position is that the EDLI transformation represents a successful and frankly essential policy correction. We fundamentally shifted the scheme from what was, let's be honest, a modest savings-linked bonus, its original character, to a much more robust, modern social insurance program. I mean, think of it. We've essentially taken an old savings piggy bank and turned it into a mandatory financial fire extinguisher for families. The introduction of the maximum assurance benefit of 7 lakh rupees, combined with guaranteed minimum benefits up to 2.5 lakh rupees, ensures financial adequacy really regardless of an individual's savings history. And critically, the 2025 amendment successfully adapts the scheme to the fluid modern labor market by redefining continuous service to ignore employment gaps of up to 60 days. That effectively safeguards contract workers and those, with more job mobility.
That's powerful framing. I'll grant you that. But I come at it from a different angle. While the legislative intent to increase social equity and benefits is, undeniable, the sheer speed of this policy dynamism has created, I believe, a structural administrative deficit. You see, the true measure of efficacy isn't just the size of the promise on paper, but the certainty of delivery on the ground. And the evidence, it shows persistent systemic failure at the operational level. I mean, we know the EPFO, the central administrator, had to issue explicit central circulars telling field offices to stop wrongfully rejecting claims, specifically when members died while still technically on the muster rolls, but maybe during a non-contributory period. The fact that they have to constantly police basic claim adjudication like this, it suggests the system isn't inherently robust, despite its mandatory design, which should prevent adverse selection.
Okay, I understand that specific criticism about operational failure, but let's talk about why this policy generosity is even possible in the first place. The scheme's financial foundation is fundamentally sound, and that's what permits these systematic benefit enhancements. It is mandatory, it's bundled with the EPF and EPS, the Employees Provident Fund and pension schemes, which efficiently pulls risk across a massive stable membership base. And this is sustained by a very stable employer contribution of just 0.5%, capped at a mere 75 rupees per month per employee. So this structural financial integrity, that's the engine guaranteeing inclusivity, reaching families of short service and intermittent workers where, purely savings-linked plans would inevitably fall short.
See, I'm not entirely convinced by that line of reasoning, because financial robustness doesn't automatically equal operational certainty. They aren't the same thing. The constant need for central regulatory oversight is the proof, isn't it? The central board needed to issue separate circulars just to proactively identify and correct what they actually termed short payments. These were cases where the amount paid out fell below the mandated 2.5 lakh minimum benefit, especially after the retrospective 2021 amendment kicked in. A truly functional, digitally integrated system, it just wouldn't require that kind of high-level central intervention merely to ensure minimum statutory guarantees are being met. That, to me, shows the legislative promise is far outpacing the administrative reality on the ground. And this operational gap, it's also pretty visible when we look at the compliance asymmetry. While standard unexempted firms, they benefit from the simple, unified, electronic Challan Come Return, the ECR, for all three schemes, which is great for them. But firms that seek an exemption, meaning they run their own, supposedly more favorable EDLI schemes, they face a continuous, complex compliance burden. They have to file a separate monthly return, Form 7IF, and they remit inspection charges calculated as a percentage of wages. And because the statutory EDLI benefits are constantly being enhanced, going from 6 lakh to 7 lakh max benefit, for instance, maintaining that more favorable status becomes this continuously moving target. It dramatically increases the administrative load on those exempted firms.
Right. I do acknowledge the sharp compliance challenge for those exempted establishments. That's a fair point. But we can't overlook the successful simplification efforts for the general beneficiary population, for the families. The digital transition and the availability of the composite claim form have significantly reduced the documentation burden on grieving families, and that's crucial. And, crucially, the administration itself is held accountable. The law mandates a 20-day settlement timeline for complete claims. That's backed by a pretty severe 12% penal interest charge on the commissioner for any delay. So this mechanism directly drives efficacy in service delivery where it matters most, at the point of payout. So, to summarize my view, the EDLI scheme has, I believe, successfully transformed into a sophisticated, crucial social security instrument. It provides defined benefits, and it demonstrates a responsive policy framework that actively addresses the fluid realities of modern employment and, importantly, ensures financial adequacy for millions of families.
That's a compelling argument. It really is. But have you perhaps considered that the cost of this policy generosity is a profound and sustained administrative burden? This burden isn't theoretical. It's visibly documented in that constant need for central regulatory oversight just to correct fundamental systemic errors and police minimum statutory benefits. The ultimate challenge, as I see it, remains ensuring the certainty and the speed of benefit delivery consistently matches the sheer magnitude of the legislative promise. We will certainly need to keep analyzing the gap between those two elements going forward.